Welcome to tonight's Dean Obeidallah Show on SiriusXM channel 127, Tuesday, January 12th. And we are just 8 days from Donald Trump out of the White House, if not sooner, because a short time ago, for what it's worth, if it's true, reportedly Mitch McConnell said he favors impeachment. Now, you really can't fast-track the removal trial in the Senate, but maybe it's laying the groundwork for invoking the 25th Amendment and that Republicans get on board in the cabinet. I'm not sure. But I can tell you this. Here's the big story. Today, Donald Trump made it clear he does not view himself responsible at all for the insurrection we saw. He said that his speech, told the press today, his speech on January 6th was, quote, totally appropriate. I guess totally appropriate is a new way of saying perfect phone call, like he did with the Ukrainian leader in his phone call there in the quid pro quo. It was not totally appropriate. Donald Trump's criminality, though, doesn't begin with that speech on January 6th. And this is what people are looking at, and prosecutors have to look at in the totality. For 2 months since the election, Donald Trump has radicalized his base. Yes, like an ISIS recruiter, Donald Trump radicalized his base by serving up a daily dose of lies about voter fraud over and over and over. Lies. Even Bill Barr, the former attorney general, said there was no widespread fraud. 60 cases were heard by Trump and his allies. How many did he win alleging any kind of fraud or throwing votes out? 0. 9 of the judges who heard the cases were appointed by who? Donald Trump himself. It was a lie. It was a lie over and over, with the goal being to radicalize his base to keep him in power. That was the endgame of Donald Trump. You know, you look at what he said, not on January 6th, look at for the 2 months, just tweets and lies every time on Fox News, spewing lies, Maria Bartiromo and others, and it doesn't end. Days before January 6th, he went down to Georgia, and there he told them again about lies, lies, lies. It didn't end. And he said things like, when you win in a landslide and they steal it and it's rigged, it's not acceptable, it's not acceptable. That brought us to January 6th, and it wasn't just the speech. Keep in mind, Donald Trump picked January 6th for a reason. It wasn't like a rally for some candidate running for Senate somewhere. It wasn't like his campaign was going on. Donald Trump picked January 6th because that was the day mandated by federal law on the Electoral Count Act to have the certification of the Electoral College by Congress. He picked 11 a.m. because so when that ended, he knew by federal statute, Congress has to begin at 1 p.m., that they would start, and there he would release them. He would gin them up, get them up excited, get them ready to go, and turn them on Congress. But again, that radicalization did not start on that speech on January 6th. It began for 2 months, every single day. And right-wing media and Congress people like Jim Jordan and Ted Cruz and others, Rand Paul, amplified those lies. They helped radicalize Americans, turn them into terrorists. And it was not a totally acceptable phone call. It was incitement to insurrection. It was also seditious conspiracy, both federal crimes. And I want to highlight a little bit about what Donald Trump said on January 6th so you have an understanding. Because we have people on the right saying, but Donald Trump said the words peaceful in that speech. He did. How many times do you think Donald Trump said the word peaceful in his speech on January 6th, talking about protests? How many times do you think he said the word peaceful? Once. How many times did he say the word fight? 20. Literally 20 times. One peaceful, and that was written by someone else because it was in nice prose. 20 times fight. And the other language was much worse. I'm just going to read a little bit from his actual speech about the words he said. Remember, this crowd was there. They flew in from around the country. They were angry. On social media, they talked about their violent plans. Trump knew this. He understood exactly what was going on. And what did he tell them? He said things like, Republicans are constantly fighting like a boxer with hands tied behind his back. And we want to be nice. We want to be respectful. And we're going to have to fight much harder. And it gets worse from there. He said, our country's had enough. We will not take it anymore. And that's what this is all about. Other things he said the left, they know what they're doing. They're ruthless. And it's time that somebody did something about it. Tell this crowd cheering for him. Someone did something about it. And further on, it continued. He said, this election was stolen from you. Make no doubt about it. Went on to about illegal ballots, just repeating lie after lie. I want to read a little bit more of his actual speech. He said, we fight like hell. And if you don't fight like hell, you're not going to have a country anymore. About the Democrats themselves, he dehumanized them. He said, they try to demean everybody having to do with us. You're the real people. You're the people that built this nation. You, not the people that tore down our nation. Dehumanize them, just like an ISIS recruiter would dehumanize a target. So you don't care about them if you kill them. He continued on talking about we can't have Biden. He didn't win. He goes, we can't live for 4 years like that. He goes, quote, we are just not going to let that happen. We're just not going to let that happen. What do you think that meant? If any doubts, he continued on, said, we'll never take our country back with weakness. You have to show strength. You have to be strong. So he said then, point blank, we're going down Pennsylvania Avenue because we're going down there to fight for America. Let's go. And what did the crowd cheer at this rally? They cheered over and over, fight for Trump. Fight for Trump. Not fight for the United States of America. Not fight for our Constitution. Not fight for our republic. Fight for Trump. Trump sent them there. He radicalized them over 2 months. It's a case study of radicalization. He brought them there from around the country. They self-selected. They were down with his mission. They wanted to go fight for Trump. At the Georgia rally, they chanted again, fight for Trump. They wanted to fight for Trump. Trump gave them a speech, serving up the red meat, incentivizing them, inciting them to do his bidding. Because Donald Trump planned on January 6th that Mike Pence would stop the certification of the votes. But if that didn't work, his backup plan was his thousands of supporters who would come to D.C., who were just within walking distance of the Capitol, that he was going to incite there, telling them, fight like hell. We can't let this happen. He said, this is not just a matter of domestic politics. This is a matter of national security. You have to be strong. We will not take it anymore. Over and over, telling them, Democrats are ruthless. We can't allow this to happen. 67% of Americans blame Donald Trump, per an ABC poll that came out Sunday, for the attack on our nation. Yet 61% of Republicans don't hold Trump responsible, nor does Trump. The question now is, will Republicans in Congress do the right thing? Will they choose America over Donald Trump? Every time they've made that choice, they failed as a party. A few handful of outliers and stragglers, but as a party, they've said, no, we're going to watch now. We're going to see where this party goes. It has a choice before it, and we'll find out. So Donald Trump's speech was not totally appropriate. It was criminal. It was insurrection, and it was seditious conspiracy. There's no doubt about it. And Donald Trump, when he leaves office, has to be federally charged and prosecuted for both of these things. Tonight on my show, we'll talk about this in a lot more detail. I hope you'll tune in. We're live 6 to 9 p.m. on channel 127, Sirius XM. Again, if you don't subscribe to Sirius XM, come to the website. Check it out. Free trials. Join the conversation. Call the show. Be a part of our fight. We're continuing with this, folks. It's not over. If you want progress, stay active. Thanks for tuning in.